Good morning. Good morning. How are y'all doing? Happy Wednesday. I think what day I was on. Happy Wednesday. I'm going to give y'all some time this morning to hop on. I think this must be like my time or something what? It's after gym time. That's why. So y'all catch fresh after gym hair. Good morning. Good morning. Let y'all catch this fresh after workout flow this morning. And give y'all some time to hop on, share the live. It's gonna be a blessing. Especially y'all see this. You can't get no more natural than this. Natural face, natural curls, natural. You can't get more natural than this. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Ooh, I just want y'all to know on this morning, God is up to something great. He is up to something great on this morning, and He has me right where I should be, right in the thick of that thing, right in the middle of that thing, where when you get in the middle of something. Good morning, Mr. Cunningham. Good morning. Right in the middle of that, right in the middle of that thing where you just, when you right almost at the end and you like, God, am I gonna cross the line? Is it gonna happen? Like, is it gonna happen, God? And you know what He told you. You know you were obedient to everything that He asked you to do, but you right there at you at the edge of that thing where you like, if I step left, I may hope too low. You know what I'm saying? I may faith it too low and not get across, God. That's the season that I'm at. And I know that he put me right there in that season. Hey, Doretha, good morning. I know God put me right at that season for this moment right here, because it's never about me. It's always bigger than me. When He puts me in the middle of a season where I'm tested, and He said, now go lead from there, like He did in Purposeful Pain, I know then that I'm right where I'm supposed to be. And this morning, as y'all know, this is my 5 a.m. workout week. So, my schedule is extremely tight, and I'm very intentional when I have to work out at 5 a.m. Extremely intentional, because I know that, good morning, James. I know that, at that time in the morning, like, for me to have to be able to get up, I have to go to bed at a certain time. I have to cut distractions off at a certain time. I've got to put my phone down at a certain time. I've got to let my mind rest at a certain time. I've got to eat by a certain time to give my body the hours that it needs. My body needs at least 6 hours in order to really be the most productive that I feel that I'm at. And I've worked on less hours before, but that's kind of where it has to be. And so this morning, as I rose at 4:20, God put step aside in my spirit instantly. As soon as my feet rose, this song by Tamala Mann, and it basically just says, step aside. Lord, I step aside and surrender. You ever been trying to get something going and you like, it just don't seem like it's going. It just don't seem like it's about to happen. It just seems like the more you fight to go toward it, it's like the further it gets from you. Like the more you fight to go toward the thing, the further it gets from you. And so this morning, God woke me up with that song. Literally, like, it was the first thing I thought about when I opened my eyes. Step aside. And so on my way to the gym this morning, I just had to be in worship with God and just let Him know, God, I step aside. God, I take my hands off of it. And, one good thing about having an intimate faith-based circle of friends that know God and they know God intimately like you do is I woke up to Chelsea. Chelsea. Chelsea, I forgot your new last name. Just that quick. But Chelsea's voice memo this morning, and she was declaring and decreeing over my life, reminding me who I am, reminding me that I am treasure, reminding me that that I was called, that I'm anointed for this moment, that no, what He said is what He said. No, what you heard is what you heard. No, what He told you to do is what He told you to do. You never have to apologize for being obedient. So I woke up. I saw Chelsea had sent me 2 voice memos at I don't even know what time of the morning. And I heard God say, step aside. And that's a word for somebody on this morning. Sometimes fighting for it means sometimes stepping aside. Sometimes fighting for it means you take your hands off of it, but you don't take your hope from it. Sometimes that's what fighting looks like. And people don't realize that. They think that fighting is always like you constantly, you pushing against something, you fighting against something, right? So sometimes fighting is just this right here. Sometimes this is fighting. Sometimes fighting is my silence. Sometimes fighting is me closing my mouth. Sometimes fighting is removing my hand, but not removing my faith. Sometimes fighting is removing my hand, but not removing my faith. That God, what you said, I'm willing to fight for that. I'm willing to go to war for that on this morning. God, I'm willing to go to war for that. I'm willing to go. What you got on this morning? Good morning, Winona. What you got? I'm willing. Sometimes we're not willing to fight for that thing. And sometimes we're not, and I said this one yesterday, was so good. Sometimes we are not prepared for the fight. So when it happens, we ain't ready. You know what I'm saying? Because you get in a boxing ring, they trying to go 10 rounds. Well, if you only trained your body for 2, you'll never get to 10. If you never trained your body for 10, you'll never get there. Are you willing to fight for it on this morning? And that's what God put in my spirit this morning as I was driving home after the gym. He said, are you willing to fight for that thing? Good morning, Julian. Are you willing to fight on this morning? Is your purpose, is it so much bigger than you? Is the plans that God has for your life so much bigger? Do you understand the totality of what he's asked you to do? See, when you don't understand the totality of what you carry, you'll mishandle it. When you don't understand. But when you got a full-on revelation of what you're carrying, and you got a full-on revelation, and you know that what you're walking in and the things that you're doing is not of you, it is all of God. You are just following the script. It's going as planned. You don't mind fighting for it. And I'm the kind of woman that don't mind fighting for something that I believe in. When I know God has given me a word, when I know God has sent me to a land, and he said, let me send you to a land that I will show you. When he take me to a place that I don't even know, I can't even explain to you why I'm here. He said, just go. And you want to tell me this ain't mine? The devil is a lie. If he said it's mine, it's mine. And I'm willing to Romans 12:12 on this morning. I'm willing to Romans 12:12 on this morning. Romans 12:12 says, rejoicing in hope, patient in tribulation, but continuing instant in prayer. Rejoicing in hope, patient in tribulation, and continuing instant in prayer. Are you willing to fight on this morning? Because sometimes fighting just means retreating. Sometimes fighting is you giving God people back over to God. Hey, God, look, this yours. Come get your child. Come get your child. All I know is what you told me to do. Like I'm in a season where I can't even apologize for my obedience. You just got to live with it. Like I can't apologize for what God told me to do. And that's the season. That's the season a lot of us are in. God is telling you, just wait on me. Step aside. I got it. Step aside. You've gone as far as I've told you to go. You've gone as far as I have made the way for you to go. Good morning, Keandra. You've gone as far. You've put your faith there. God promised me when I came out of the mountains, he said, your faith will move my hand. And I have put my money on the line. I put my time on the line. I put my ego on the line. I've put my obedience on the line. God, I've put my time. What else you got? Because see, this right here, sometimes we gotta, you gotta know that God will give us, what I love about God is he will give us a glimpse of the promise, right? He'll show you the end game, right? But he reminds us that, look, that sometimes you're gonna have to fight for that end game. Ain't nobody letting you get to the scoring line off GP. Some things only come with a fight. Some things only come with a push. Some things only come with you getting uncomfortable. Some things only come with you losing weight and learning how to lift it. Some weight you got to lose so you can lift it, so you can gain. See, that's what I had to learn. Some weight that I wanted, I had to first lose it so I could lift it, then I could gain it. Because I want to gain weight. That's why I'm in the gym at 5 a.m. That's why I'm not leaving out because Jay say class over. Class over for them. But I'm a leader. I'm a warrior. Class not over for me. Because see, they can go home and they done, they can move on. I got lives depending on my obedience. I can't just move on. I got lives depending on my ability to war. So I can't just move on. I got lives that say, I need you to get to the end because I'm trying to break yokes. Some of us are connecting to people because we just want companionship. No, God, I need partnership. I need somebody to catch the other end of this table. Because understand, look, I may be 150 pounds soaking wet, but I live heavyweight. I'm a giant in the kingdom. I'm a giant in the kingdom. So no, I have an Ezekiel anointing on my life. No, I can speak to a dead thing and watch it rise. I can speak to the dry bones and watch it come to pass. I can prophesy to that thing because he said that if life and death is in my tongue and you call those things that be not as though they were. See, my mama taught me that. On the way to school every morning, she said, you call those things that be not as though they were. So being that I know how to call those things, no, I know who I am in this thing. This morning, I had a girl, baby Chelsea said, do you know who you are? Do you know who you are? Because when you know who you are, that means you understand what you carry. And because you understand what you carry, you will not mishandle the blessing. You will, Romans 12:12. You will command your spirit to get in line. You will command your mind to get in line. You will command your feet to get in line. You will command yourself to get up on this morning. You will command because you understand that what God promised you, that settles it on this morning. So I just want to know, are you willing to fight for it? Does it matter enough to you that you're willing to fight for it? Or is your selfishness going to make you say, I ain't doing all that? That's selfishness. Followers say they ain't doing all that. You know why followers will say that? Because they don't understand the vision. The thing that I learned in managing a sales mentality. Hey, Angie, the thing that I learned in managing sales all these years was that there is never a moment that we plateau. I remember being in sales, and I'll never forget being a branch manager at about 26 years old. I had one of the top producing branches in the Arklatex. And an associate that used to work for me, she on here, Angie can vouch. I was in the top 10 percentile. And there wasn't that many that looks like me. You understand? And I remember sitting in a meeting. It was the end of the year sales meeting. And our manager, I remember being frustrated in my spirit. I was like, when is enough enough? Like, when do we get to the point where you just say good job and you ain't asking me for more crap? When is it enough is enough where, like, you just say job well done and it don't come with another instruction behind it? When is the millions that I put in your pocket enough for you? When? And I remember sitting there being frustrated, like, when is enough enough? And my manager, he gets up there in front of, it's all branches in the Arklatex. And he gets up there and he says, I just want to let y'all know, first of all, he plays this video. And it's basically, it's wow, God, it's literally a man climbing a mountain. And he lets the man climb the mountain. And then at one point he says, just know as this man climbs this mountain, what he don't know as he's climbing and as he's travailing is that there ain't no time that he gonna reach the top. There's no point that you get to where it's just done. When God has called you to something, your finish is when you dead. That's when he lets you rest. But as long as there's breath in your body, what the song says, as long as I am breathing, God, I will follow you. I will serve you. I will work for you. Are you willing to fight? Because some of us ain't willing to fight. Some of us just say we want to fight, but we don't want to fight. Because see, when you really want to fight, you're going to train for that thing. When you want to fight, you're going to tell the enemy where he can go sit down at. You're going to tell the enemy that, no, I know what God said. God said that he would be with me to the end. If he sent it to me, if he sent me there, then he meant for me to show up there. Chelsea on the line. Chelsea this morning started me this morning. I woke up this morning to a voice memo reminding me of who I am. No, Luke, you are a lion. I'm not a hyena. You are a lion in this thing. Are you willing to fight for it? What are you willing to do for it? Are you willing to get up in the morning? Look at LaShawn. She on here. Sean was in there this morning, busting her butt, getting butt and gut done this morning. Are you willing to fight? Are you willing to fight? Because I woke up with it on my mind. And sometimes fighting look like Romans 12 and 12. Sometimes fighting look like stepping aside. Sometimes fighting, it looks like giving up to the enemy, but God said, no, she just surrendered so I can show up. You thought I gave up. Because see, the enemy don't know. He don't know. He doesn't know the next play. God does. But what he does know is your body language. He can read them nonverbal cues. He can read them lips that you use to curse your blessing when God says no. He say, bless those that curse you and curse not. That's what he know. So when you speaking them foul things that's killing your seed, when you putting weeds out there amongst your seed, that's all the enemy knows. That's how he know what next play is. But see, when you step aside and you just get quiet, don't worry about it. Nicki Minaj said, I ain't gotta talk. The Lord defends me. Just like that. I can't apologize for being obedient. If my obedience frustrates your spirit, then baby, that's just what it's going to be today. Because understand that where I'm headed and where I'm going, if I got to fight to get there, I got it on my mind this morning. If I got to fight to get there, I got it on my mind this morning. And sometimes my fight just look like this. Sometimes the fight this the fight. I don't argue with fools. Word of God tell me not to do that. Proverbs. I don't argue with fools. I ain't gotta argue with you about what I know God told me. I know he provided a way. Because I know the details. You just seeing the blessing. Now I gotta argue with you about that. God said, what I put in you is yoke breaking. It's generational breaking. Do you understand what's on your back? Why is it that I want to gain weight and other people don't? Why is it that in order to gain weight, you got to lift heavy? You got to lift heavy. That ain't for everybody. Everybody ain't running to the 40-pound kettlebell, but I am. It's the only one I want. 25 won't do nothing for my body. It won't change my body. 15 won't change my body. But 40 will. 40 will put a transformation out there. But a lot of us we're not willing to lift heavy. So we trying to walk light. That's not what I'm about. And God told me this morning on my way, as I was listening to Darius Daniels, he said, go back and look again. Some stuff you just got to know how to war about. Some wars just need you to raise your hands. Some wars just need you to speak to that thing. Some wars just need you to step aside. I got it. You right. You pushed it as far as it needed to go. You good. You did. Job well done, sis. Move out the way. Because the longer we stay in a place that only God can reside in, that's when we start self-inflicting ourselves with the word rejection. See, rejection only shows up when you stay in a place that God told you to step aside in so he could stand there. Because now the fight about to turn up. Now the heat about to get hotter. And you're not prepared for that. And he love you so much. He like, look, as much as I done watched you train, baby, I know you ready. As much as I done watched you war, I know you got my back. And because I know you got my back, he said, baby, take my yoke is easy and my burdens are light. Take mine. Because you done did everything you needed to do. And that's a word for somebody on this morning. Step aside. You done did everything you needed to do. Let your silence speak. Sometimes some people only deserve your silence. They don't deserve your lips. They don't even deserve the vocabulary that God has given you. Some people don't deserve for you to use them degrees to whip them. Some people don't deserve that. Some people do not deserve you arguing with them. Because I used to be one to want to argue. I used to be the one to want to, you won't say something? We could go round for round because I always got time. But see, God said it wasn't that you had it wrong. It was that you had it in the wrong position. Some of us got some fight in us, but we fight wrong. So because we fight wrong, our conclusions always end out wrong. It ain't nothing wrong with the fact that you bold, but you got to know how to boldly boast in God. It's nothing wrong with the fact that you just got to know how to stand in him with you. It's nothing wrong with the fact that you know how to decree and declare a thing, and when you speak, it moves, and when you go to God, he listen. I didn't choose this anointing. The anointing chose me. I don't know what else to tell you. This is who I am. This all I got on this morning. I can't apologize for being obedient because this ain't about me. My life is not my own. Period. And certain things the enemy want to see y'all give up. He wants you to lose hope. He don't want you to understand Romans 12:12. He don't want you to have an intimate relationship with God. He don't want God to start showing you who you are in the kingdom. He don't want God to start putting you on the robe of glory. He don't want that. Because then you'll stop operating for him. Then you'll stop moving like you need to move for him. If he can get you to lose hope, he can get you to lose faith. And if you don't got faith, then how you gonna please God? Because James 1 teaches us that the only way to please God is with our faith. But you gotta have hope and faith. Hope deferred is what sickens the heart. You gotta have heart. But the song say, keep your heart 3 stacks. You got to have heart in this thing, because having heart is equivalent to having love. And if God is love, and that's the one thing that he told us to do when he rolled out, was like, hey, make sure you still love. The enemy is coming after your heart because he understands that you can be brain dead and live, but you can't be heart dead and survive. You can be brain dead and live. You can be alive brain dead, but you can't be alive if your heart is dead. And he understands that better than you. And that's really sad. But the reason we don't understand that is because we don't know how to get in the face of God. We don't understand that because we too busy trying to get people to tell us who we are when God's already certified who I am. I will not ever back down from a fight, ever. I get that from my daddy. I ain't never ran for one. And I'm not about to start running in this season, especially when I ain't got to. He said, I ain't got to talk. The Lord defends me. He operates in the gray, but he confirms in black and white. And if he said it, he gonna do it. He said the vision is for an appointed time, and clearly it must be time, because I've been preparing all this time. I didn't just get in the gym last week. I've been there. I ain't just started staying over. I've been standing overtime because I knew that I needed to have endurance for the marathon. I was never training for a race. Ever. I was never training for a race. I was always training for a marathon. Always. Like I said yesterday, people won't see you when you sacrificing, but they'll be talking about your sacrifices when you dead and gone. When I die, I'll be legendary. I promise you that. When I die, I'll be legendary. Legendary. Legend. You'll be talking about my sacrifices when I ain't even thinking about them no more. You'll be talking about my sacrifices when I won't be thinking about them no more. Just like I told y'all the other week, I went to my old job and I had to go in there and get a cashier's check. This girl I never met, new teller, she working at the branch I started at in 2008. She worked at that branch doing the job I started at doing. I started in banking as a teller. See, you got to understand, I started from the bottom. 2 months into my career, this is how you know it's God. God shows his hand in every aspect of your life, whether it's relationships, whether it's your career, whether it's just your life period, whether it's the church house, whatever. You can see him in everything when you know how to see him right. When you know how to see him right, you can find him in everything. I started in 2008 in banking, 21 years old. 2 months in, I had a promotion. There was people there that had been there way longer than me, but God, it was a light on me. It was a light on me. Somebody saw something in me and said, you know what? You're the highest and best use of you ain't behind a teller line. Let me put you behind a desk. People was mad. Everybody that said congratulations wasn't happy for me. But God said, you out here referring folk. You seeing people's needs before they see it. I was trained for this. God put me in finance so I could see people's needs before they saw their needs. That's what Regions Bank taught me. Need-based conversations. So I understand that. right? I'm trained to ask you questions and listen to what you don't say. I was trained for this. So I'm behind the teller line, 21 years old, 60 days. Tellers at that time was working on weekends. I ain't never worked a weekend. Ever. Since I've been in banking, I've never worked a weekend. My boast is in God. His hand was always on me. Always on me. 60 days. I stayed behind that teller line. 2 months. They was doing every quarter, working on a Saturday, rotating with other branches. Lauren Jackson ain't never rotated with no other. Lauren Jackson was at the house. Lauren Jackson got moved from a teller line to a desk. And I was in my last semester at Northwestern. I had not gotten my degree. For y'all think, oh, you had to have a degree. Baby, I was still in school. I was in my last semester, and my undergrad degree is not in banking. It's in health and exercise science. And at that time, I didn't like working out. I just needed to get out of school because I thought I was going to be a neonatal nurse. I'm testifying on this morning. And as I'm talking to y'all, I'm reminding Lauren Jackson exactly, Lauren Nicole Grimes Jackson, who she is. How God brought me from struggle to strength on purpose. So now I'm behind a desk and people walking in and they got issues. They got overdrafts. They don't know how to do money. And let's be clear, my parents ain't teach me how to do money neither. I learned from my job. The most mama did was let me help her balance her checkbook. And I can help you balance yours. I don't balance my own. I ain't balance a checkbook. Nah, I don't balance my own. But I'm teaching other people. 21. I got people double my age coming in needing help. I was in Ward N. And at that time, they gave me a little raise, little $2,000 something raise. But I didn't even know then what God was doing in me. And I worked at that branch and I worked my butt off. I was always in the top tier. Always. I've been beasting. I ain't just start. I've been beasting. So sometimes people don't be understanding why you got the aggression that you got. It's because I was always the underdog. I've always been counted out, but that's what fueled me. Always. Until God taught me how to use what he gave me. Right? And then I started getting promoted. I was there at that branch maybe a year, then God transitioned me to another branch. I was so mad. God sent me all the way to Pines Road. I was if you from Shreveport, I was right here on Burcoons. And God transitioned me to Pines Road. And I was like, God, why you move me over there? I had got so comfortable. Baby, I wouldn't even get out my chair to get a client. I'd be sitting just like this. Clients was just walking up to me. People, Lord, how you do it? Favor? I've always had favor. I graduated high school in 3 years. I've always had favor. When I came to Northwestern, I already came to Northwestern when I got there with 6 credit hours. I've been on my grind. I ain't just start. I've been training all my life for this moment right here. Because God knew that he was training a warrior in me. He was training a fighter in me. Every time you ever counted me out, baby, I have never been down. He said, I've never seen a righteous forsaken or his seed begging bread. And baby, I ain't never had to beg for bread. I outwork others for fun. Not because I'm trying to shine, but because understand this. I understood where I was. I was in my design. I thought banking was it for me. It was the thing that I would do in my sleep. I have financed everything you can think about. House, car, businesses. I've been seeing money was nothing. Counting money was nothing. Killing goals was nothing. Matter of fact, it got to the point that people just expected when the top 10 list came out that my name was already on it. And I always had people gunning for me. But they didn't understand. I was never boastful. My boss would say, Lauren, why you don't send out success stories? Because I ain't got to talk. The numbers count. That's why I always love numbers. Because people lie, numbers don't. They add. 1 + 1 go always be 2. Jody says the great. Jody, no? Jody works with me. Always been the underdog. But I've always been willing to fight for what I wanted. And I was never scared to fight. I ain't never been afraid of having to ration out money. I never had to be afraid to ration out how to do this, how to do that. And I've never been so big that I thought I couldn't help put somebody else on. Ever. Because I don't compete with you. We ain't in the same field. I don't compare to you. You don't compare to me. But you add us together, we'll multiply. Add us together, we multiply. But God puts you in the right places. He was showing me this morning, I trained you for this moment. I trained you for this moment. I trained you to be in the spotlight. And I never liked the spotlight. And as it had got to a point in my career, I remember my ex-husband used to have to tell me, Lauren, people don't just get raises every year. What are you talking about? I had got so accustomed to favor. Baby, what you mean I ain't got no raise this year? Baby, there was some years I got raises twice in a year. What are you talking about? Because I understood, you don't want to lose me. You don't want me. Matter of fact, you don't want to lose me off your team because you would hate to see me on the other side. You want me on offense because you sure don't want me on defense. I promise you that. Right? Because I've always been the kind of person to master it all. Always. Always. And so even in that time, my ex-husband, one of the things that I will always, one of the reasons that I still honor him the way that I do is because he even used to push me. I graduated with that bachelor's. He said, Lauren, you got 3 months to figure out what master's degree you want. Because let's just be clear. You ain't getting light-skinned, sis. And you in a predominantly white male industry. Okay? I wouldn't dare have worn my hair like this in 2008. I had to look the part. Go look at my pictures. I ain't got to lie. I think the first weave I ever got in my head, LaShawn Anderson on here was the one that put it in my head. I ain't got to lie. I was ruthless at working. I got my first master's degree before I had my first child. My children were playing children. There ain't no oopsies. Because I was intentional about what I wanted. Intentional. So that's how I knew. I was like, okay, look, I'm going to go get my master's in banking and financial management because I don't want to go back. I don't want to go be no nurse. God, that ain't even, look, I wake up in the morning for this. I hunger for this. Like, don't worry about it. I'm just going to go back. I'm going to get my master's in that. So he was like, all right, bet. I went to school, worked full time. Many days he was working on his doctorate. I was in the other side of the house working on my master's. I owned my first home at 22. We rented for 1 year in Shreveport. 22 years old, sis had a house. And ain't no little nothing. We $186,000 house in Bossier. Yes. In Rosedale subdivision. Check the records. I ain't gotta lie. But even then, God was doing things for me. God was taking me places. God was pruning and changing me. God was preparing me for this moment. He was letting me know all that aggression that you got, it ain't nothing wrong with it. You just got to know how to put it in the right soil. At one point, it was everywhere. But then God showed me how to put it in the right soil. And then at that point, I started really moving that thing. And I remember the obstacles that was coming up. I remember the obstacles that I had to go through. And see, that's when you know you're getting close to that thing. It's when you got them obstacles. Hey, Tanya Barnes, it's when you got them obstacles close by. And y'all share it live because it's going to bless somebody today because I got it on my mind. And I was going through obstacles. I'm working hard. I'm outshining all these numbers. You put a goal in front of me, I double it because I ain't going to never measure on your stick. First of all, you don't know what's in me. I do. So since I know what's in me, if you tell me that my goal is $1 million, is 750, know that I'm going to do at least $1 million. My branch could tell you. It got to the point where I was doing $1 million in loans, sometimes by myself, alone. Okay? So we talking about a woman that's been out here. Ain't no starting. I really know what I'm doing. I really got a resume and it's long. That ain't no boast. That's me showing you I've been working. Nobody gave me no hand up or no handout. I didn't know nobody when I started in this industry, and I didn't know people in Shreveport. I'm not from here. I've been here 13 years. I'm not from here. Everything about me is South Louisiana. Everything about me is 337. I'm not from here. My daddy know everybody. That's true. My mama know everybody. That's true. But ain't neither one of them put me on. I came from the bottom on this one. I put myself through school. I put my brother through school. And I had the help of my ex-husband who helped do a lot. He was amazing. Let's put credit where credit is due. He supported that. I took my brother from Lafayette at 17 years old and said, yeah, you gonna graduate, you playing, let's go. We ain't came from the same seed and the same soil. For you to ever think you gonna be a failure. My brother will tell you. I put that fire under his tail. I took him. That happened in real life. I took him and I sent him back a man with 2 degrees. My brother went back home. My brother got 2 degrees. His sister did that one. See, and that's before I had kids. I was raising kids before I had kids. So I've been out here on this battlefield. But as I was trying to do all of this stuff, I had opposition come up. I had moments when I wanted to give up. I had moments when I wanted to walk away from banking because they didn't want to give a little girl like this a chance. God said, just get quiet. Let the numbers speak. Get quiet. Let your numbers speak. People will start looking for you. Get quiet. Let the numbers speak. People will start looking for you. See, when you out here working and you focused on what you're doing, other people will see your good work. Other people will start following you. Other people will start trying to see what you got going. Other people. You understand? Other people. When I was pregnant with Trey, my oldest son, I chose both my kids' birthdays. That's how intentional I was. My kids, both of them was born on a Friday because I chose their birthday. I worked every day up until the day I went and pushed my kids out and I ain't have no C-section. I've been doing this. I've been grinding. And the 6 weeks that I was off, because first of all, they didn't want to promote me and give me the branch in North Bossier, which was one of the most highly productive branches in his area. They didn't want to give it to me, even though I had been running the branch. My mentor, Jonathan Reynolds, who I did not like when I started, has become my father. He became my father. I don't even call him by his name. It feels funny. I call him Paul, like a dad. I never made another career decision after meeting him. Every career decision I've ever made in my life, I don't do without talking to him first. And no, he's not my biological father, but I respect him as he was because he was in there. He was there for me in a season when me and my daddy wasn't on the same page. I'm just testifying to some of y'all who just don't know me, so now you can really get to know me. That think you know, now you gonna know. I've been working. They didn't want to promote me. They didn't want to give me the branch. Jonathan was like going around. Look, I had 2 master's degrees at this point. I had an MBA and a master's in banking. And they did not want to promote me at all. And then, and I had the numbers. I was undisputed. You had some people ain't have 1 degree and I had 3. 3. And I'm still, and I'm putting up numbers consistently. That's why people who do stuff one time don't impress me. I'm not impressed by that. You only doing something one time, boy, I ain't impressed by that. Holla at me when you consistent, now I know it's real. Holla at me when you, every day you coming up in here and you humping, now I know it's real. Let me see your name up there with mine every time, now I know it's real. I was one of the hardest people to work for. Because I didn't take no slack off you. Because I had to fight for this. They weren't paying me the same as they was paying other people. People they had no degrees and they wasn't even nowhere near. Take the because in sales it ain't about your degrees, it's about your performance. I was outperforming people for fun. And I wasn't making what they were making. Until I had to walk in a room and demand my price. Sometimes people won't give you what you ask for until they see somebody else trying to give it to you. Then the money come talking right. Then you can start getting your mind together. Then you start acting like you done got some sense. But see, when I was asking you nicely, you ain't want to holler at me. When I was out here working my butt off for you and doing 2 and 3 things, there was one point I was a teller and a banker. I would be on the teller line working in it because we were shorthanded over there on Pines Road. We were shorthanded. Plenty of days. Sharon be like, Lauren, I know you're going to get upset, but I need you to work the teller line. I didn't realize that the fact that, hey, Miss Cooper, the fact that I had so much knowledge made me valuable. Sometimes, God, that's good. Sometimes we don't realize that all this extra stuff he asking us to do, he ain't trying to upset you and frustrate your day. He trying to increase your value. Because the more you know, the more they need you. The more you know, the more they can't do without you. So when you walk in the room and you say, look, I need 10 grand. They come with 13. And that really happened. I said I needed 10. They said, I got 13 for you. On the spot. And that was only putting me where I should have been from the start. I never stopped working. I never came to work for my salary. I came to work for my extra. I never came to work for my salary. I always came for my extra. It was the bonuses that kept me working like a slave. And then in the midst of all of that, they send me, finally get comfortable at Pines Road with Sharon. They send me to Jonathan. Me and Jonathan bump hands first day. I was like, I'm about to leave him. I'm not saying his attitude and my attitude will not work together. I was assistant manager then. God was moving me. I was so frustrated when God moved me from Burt Coons. God, why you moved from over there where it's milk and honey flowing? And then you send me to Pines Road. I don't know nobody over here. I don't know what you doing. I was only there another year and a half. God was preparing me then. And my manager then, Sharon White, is still my friend today. I talk to Sharon like several days a week. We still go to lunch. My mentor. God will put you in places, but you got to be willing to go. Even when you don't understand. Sometimes, and I didn't have no choice in that. I didn't have a choice in going to Pines Road. They walked in one day and said, this branch is overstaffed and this one's understaffed and you going. I didn't understand why God was doing it. But God understood that if I'd have stayed where I was, they would have never elevated me to where I should have been. So he moved me out the way. See, God will move. That's why sometimes you got to step aside. Because sometimes you in the way. And God's like, just move to the left. I got this. They was underpaying me where I was. But I thought I was home and I felt safe. Didn't know I was underpaid. Until I went to another branch. Only to find out. Girl, you ain't making no money. You don't know what you don't know when they got you out here on that plantation looking life. You don't know. And that's what the enemy wants you. He wants you to stay stagnant where you don't know your value, where you don't know your worth, where you're not operating in what you should be doing, and you're not getting paid what you should be getting paid, but you out here working like you should be working. But ain't nobody, they ain't putting respect on your name. They playing with you. I didn't know that. Had no clue they was playing with me. So God moved me to the side. And then here came Chase Bank. Chase Bank said, look, what you make? Show us your pay stub. Chase Bank said, look, shoot, we get 10 grand off spot to come up here. Off top. I went back to my ex-husband. We were married at the time. I was like, look, this is what they saying. These are numbers. What you thinking? Because he's a numbers person. Like, what you thinking? He was like, shoot. I say, look, go ahead and take it. I go in there to give my notice to Sharon. Sharon, my friend. But Sharon, you got me working a teller line, a banker's desk, and I got to meet numbers every month. You don't care that I'm on this teller line working like a Hebrew slave every day, and then I got to come up. You still want these numbers. So I told her, look, I'm not making what I should be making. I'm going to move around. Because by this point, and let me thank you, God, for that detail. And even when they was underpaying me, I bought a new house and a new car. I bought a new house and a new car on the underpaid money you was giving me. Let's just keep it right there. Okay? That's when you know it's God. He said, don't worry. I know they ain't paying you right, but I got you. I got you. So here we go. I go in there, tell Sharon, look, dog, I'm about to roll out. Told her my letter. Sharon didn't know what she was getting. Sharon didn't know that I was underpaid. Sharon was like, what you making? She go, look, because it ain't in my file. Sharon go find out what I make, and she come and you know what she said, Lauren, I'm sorry. I'm embarrassed that I was even asking you to work that hard, paying you pennies. I'm sorry. I had more degrees than a thermometer up in there, but I was the one that was underpaid. But this is what I'm telling you. It ain't about the underpay. It was about the way my posture was. Even though I wasn't getting what I should have been getting, I still was out working folk. My work ethic didn't change because of my pay. Some of us, that's our issue. Depending on what we getting paid, depending on what we going to do. Look, God say he trying to see what you trying to do with the little. He trying to see what you doing with humble beginnings. Are you humping or are you whining? That's why I ain't got time for people that whine all day. I don't hear that. I've been out here humping. Since I left my mama's house at 17 years old, I promised my mama, you let me graduate 3 years out of high school. I promise you, mama. Because people was telling her, she gonna go get pregnant, come back. You know how small town people do. She gonna get pregnant. She gonna get strung out on drugs. People was telling my mama all kind of stupid mess. But my mama knew it was in me. I ain't never came home pregnant, strung out on drugs. I ain't never came home, period. I elevated. Then they was clapping. But that's what people do when they want to count you out. When you was proven wrong, I knew you had it. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. But it's okay because I was never doing this for you. How about that? I was never doing this for you. Told Sharon about my money. They came back, right? And I wasn't there another good 6 months before I had another promotion. They dropped instant money and then had to drop more money when I moved. Back to back. Be in the right position. That's why I was telling y'all yesterday. It's about divine timing, but it's also about preparation. Because if you wasn't humping and then you gonna talk about you want some money, seeing sales, well, the reason I love it is because it's rugged. And it's only for them ones that's willing to get down in the deep and get with it. It's not for y'all that want to sit on your butt, rock in the chair, drink coffee for 30 minutes. The sales experience ain't like that. Either you gonna get it out the mud or you gonna get ran over. And that's why I like it. It fits my personality. It brings the warrior up out of me. It brings the leadership up out of me. It brings the humbleness up out of me. That's why I love it. I'm addicted to it. Period. But God was training me for something better. I thought it was just numbers. Nah, I gotta say, that ain't it. But I'm getting you ready. I'm getting you ready. I'm making sure you ready to fight. You want to fight? Because that's how I was growing up. I was argumentative. And then I came from a family, we just fight about it. Like, you won't fight? You raise your voice too loud for me? You won't fight? That's the kind of environment that's what I knew. So then God moved me to a branch with Jonathan. And I was like, God, we ain't going to make it. He on my nerves. I don't like him. His attitude bad. My attitude was still under construction because I was like 24. I'm young. Running folk, 24. But I didn't know that God was introducing me to the biggest and greatest blessing that is still blessing my life years later. Years later. And I didn't realize that the reason that he was so rugged was because he had been in a fight too. They didn't want to see him where he was neither. He had to show out and fight. He went before me. He had gone before me like a father. He had gone before me like a father. I had no idea what he had been through. I knew he had a lot of turnover. I knew he couldn't keep folk. So I meet this girl named Dandelion. Go figure. I don't know this girl from a can of paint. She the head teller. I'm the assistant manager. Dana's about a year or two older than me. And I'm like, girl, what we got going on? Because see, all I know is sales. She know compliance, operation, how to keep you from getting failing findings and stuff. I ain't know all that. And so I get out there with her. Didn't know Dandelion was going to become my sister. Not my coworker. I was in Dandelion wedding. I met her at work. I met her on business. Come on now. You ever met somebody on business and then they just start, it ain't even about business no more. Now y'all just friends, life partners. Me and Dandelion, I was in Dandelion's wedding. Me and Dandelion was pregnant together. My youngest son and Dandelion's youngest baby, me and Dandelion was pregnant together. Together. And we both was ready for Jonathan to go because he was getting on our nerves. And then one day I said, we're going to confront this thing. Huh? Because he would do stuff like you going there to talk to him, and he'd be like, he'd be like just doing this here right here, like he ain't halfway listening to you, like real dismissive. And if you ever met him, you know he can get real dismissive. But don't play with him behind me, baby, because I'm very protective of my Paul. But that's how he would be. And one day I walked in there to ask him something. He was like, come back to me when you got numbers. Excuse me? I'm trying to help out you. I'm asking you what help you need. I'm trying to serve you and be your partner in this thing because we two black people in Bossier. Let you just figure that out. What you mean? The whole management team black in Bossier. Okay? Not South Bossier. North Bossier. Where the money reside. Okay? So here we over here. You acting crazy. I'm just like, what's your problem? One day I said, Dylan, we about to go in there and confront him because, see, this not going to last long with me because the one thing about me, I am confrontational. I have to confront. If it's on me, I'm going to have to confront you. And it ain't got to be no fight. But I need the truth to come out so we can figure this out. I'm one of them. I got to have order. So if we got art, let's just run that over here. I ain't afraid for no fight. I came from a fighting family. I ain't afraid of fighting. But at this point, I'm too old for all that. I just need to know what your issue is so we can get this rolling and figure this out. Now I walked in his office and I got very vulnerable with him. And me and Danley closed them doors and we laugh about this to this day. I always tell her she was Paul's favorite. And Danley and I both just let it out. You treat us like crap and we are here to elevate you. I'm not here to hurt you. I'm not going to be like the last person who ain't know how to have your back. I'm not going to be like the last person that didn't know how to do right by you. I'm not going to be that person. So let's just get that off the table so you can let this animosity and this wall that you got down because I'm here to help you, not hurt you. The same fight you've been in, I've been in. The same underpay you've had to fight to get your right kind of pay, I've been in. And as we began to talk and he began to share with us his story, I began to learn how to appreciate the man that he became, even in the pain that he went through. Then I gave an appreciation for him. And I started handling him different. And from that moment, Danley cried in the office. She done got mad because Danley like fight cry mad. You know, like you start crying because now you about to fight. And at that point, when he saw her tears, something about a father. When he saw her tears, it shifted his movement. When he realized, like, what I'm doing is hurting. Like, what I'm doing is hurting my daughters. It's hurting them. It's hurting the help that God sent to bless me. It's hurting them. And the moment that he realized that, our relationship changed forever. It was never that relationship ever again. Are you willing to fight for it? When they didn't want to give me that branch, it was Jonathan that went and lobbied on my behalf. It was Jonathan that was going to people, man, Lauren, great, man, look, I don't even run the branch no more. And he wasn't lying. I was honoring the man of God. He would have me do all kind of stuff. I'm like, bro, why you got me doing this? And he would always say, because one day I'm not going to be here for you. One day I'm going to be gone. And I need you to know how to still make me proud and keep my legacy alive. And I kept his legacy alive. And he was right. They promoted me and gave me that branch, gave me North Bossier branch a week before I was going out to have my son. That was some old petty stuff. 1 week. I'm 9 months pregnant with my first child. You didn't want to give me the job. Now I finally got the job and I only got 7 days to be in a row and get my branch together. And I got to be gone for 6 weeks. I'm a workaholic. I work sun up, sundown. My kids will tell you, they schedule time with me. Like, we ain't just roll up on mama. I work because I understand the vision. I understand the sacrifice.
I understand what all of this looks like and what it all means. I appreciate my ex-husband so much because a lot of this stuff that I'm learning now, he had been trying to put in me, but I was too broken to see it then. That's why I can honor him the way I do. It ain't on nothing different than the fact that, man, you was right. A lot of times we can't be humble enough to say, dog, you was right. That's the fight. It's your surrendering, your ego. Sometimes that's the fight. That's the winner. That's the knockout. It's your surrenderance and your obedience. Are you willing to fight? Are you willing to bless those that you know been throwing salt on your name? Are you willing to bless those that you know don't like you? Because God said, if you can treat my children the way I would treat them, knowing that they will forsake you just like Judas did, then I know I can trust you with more. I know I can take you to the next level. And God did just that for me. My branch still hit SCO card, which means gold, even though I was out for 6 weeks. Yes, I checked on my branch every single day. Every single day, girl. I don't care if I just popped a baby up out of me. They ain't got nothing to do with nothing. If he want to have some formula, we better get these numbers. How about that? I ain't had time for whining and complaining. I was out 6 weeks to the day. 6 weeks to the day. I ain't take no extra day off. Excuse me. So I worked. My first day back, my mama can tell you, she was like, you called the daycare to see how the baby doing? No. Did you cry when you dropped him off? No. Ain't no shade. I ain't do none of that. You know why? God gave me my mom. My mom was my daycare owner. Miss Felicia Polidor. She owned I forget the name of her daycare over there on Benton Road in Bossier. Ma was a client at the bank. Ma was from South Louisiana originally. She live in Shreveport now. First Friends Learning Center. That's what it is. You look it up. Ain't got a lot of y'all. This is my real life. I wasn't worried about my child because I knew Ma had it. She know more about kids than me. This is my first one. I done raised some, but my brother, I had to pop him out. I don't know what Mama was doing. Me and my brother only 3 years apart. I don't remember what that looks like. First time I took him to the doctor, I had to pamper him wrong. I ain't know nothing about no kids. But I knew about Warren. I knew about learning. I knew about putting the right folk around me to help support the vision. That's what I did know. I knew how to manage. So I used my strengths until God sent somebody that could help undergird my weaknesses and help elevate the areas that I wasn't strong in. So I need to check on him. I dropped him off before 8. I picked his tail up at 6. And that was the time they was closing. I need all my money's worth with Mom. And my mom was like, you ain't gonna call? Ma, you got the phone number. If you so worried, you call. I'm busy. I'm busy making money so you can call the nursery because he ain't getting put out because I had enough money to pay for it this month, Ma. That's always my attitude. Always. Because I'm focused on something. It ain't that I'm neglecting. It's that if I ain't trust you, I ain't gonna give you my child. If I gotta call and check on you all day, you ain't watching my child. That's too much. I can keep my child myself. Right? That's just how I've always been. About my Father's business. So many people's lives I've blessed. So many people, when I went by that old branch, the other week to get that cashier's check. That girl said, she said, you're Lauren Jackson. She looked at my name. She said, you're Lauren Jackson. I said, yeah. She said, I've heard so much about you. I'm thinking, this is the last branch I worked at. In my career, when I came back to Regions, I came back to mortgage, and I worked at the Burcoons branch, my original branch that I started at over 10 years ago. My girl said, I've heard your name before, but I hear your name more often by the customers. Now, Sharon, my manager from Pines Road, now manages the branch on Burcoons, and her old assistant manager, Miss T, is over there as well. They both know me, right? So I'm thinking, well, maybe they done said something. Nah, she said, the customer's still talking about you. These people are still talking about you all these years. When I die, my sacrifices will still be talking about me. I'll still be legendary. Because I fought for this. So many people, I helped them save their house, save money, teach them how to use their money, teach them how to do this and that. And God elevated me. Once I did all of this stuff at Regents, made all this stuff pop off, they didn't want to give me a business banker role. I want to be a business banker, but I was going to be the only one that looked like me. I was going to be the only one that looked like me. And they didn't want to give me that either. Even after I had done all that I had done consistently, they didn't know if Jonathan was still at that branch or not, because I still operated just like him. I was my father's child. I had picked up his demeanor, his hunger, his relentlessness, his effort, his heart for people. He has one of the biggest hearts for people that I've ever met. He will go to war for you all day. If he ain't going to war, then we just don't need to go. Because he really has a heart for people. Outside of his tough exterior, his interior is extremely soft. And he has a heart, a big one. And I had picked up the same heart he had. And I had done things like him. I was tough. I was tough as nails. They sent people to my branch because they know if they was going to work, they was going to work for me. Because I was by the book. Not playing with you. I come to work. And I will outwork you. I promise you. I will outwork you. That is a fact. I'm never going to ask you to do something that I'm not willing to do. Some days they tell us act like they had an attitude. Well, don't worry about it. Move around. I still got it. People, you the branch manager. You on the teller line. Yep, because I ain't never too high up. I ain't never too high up that I can't come down to serve. Believe that. And still make numbers. People who thought that I couldn't make it without them, baby, I would fire them folk and still be up there working. And you wouldn't know how many people I had because I still was performing. God was making me then. For this moment. Not for that. But he was showing me, if you put your faith in me, I will direct your path. There ain't a place that I won't take you. There's no place that you can go that you got to be afraid if you're willing to fight for it. Are you willing to fight? When people leave, when people quit on you, when people don't show up to work, are you going to not show up? Or are you going to show up and outwork like you ain't never worked before because you know this bigger than you? I used to tell them all the time, the people that come in this doors, you don't know what they dealing with. It's bigger than you counting their money back. Be kind because you don't know that somebody may have just thought about taking their life before he walked in this door. You don't know how many people walked in there and they needed advice. They needed your guidance. They needed you to have education, to teach them because somebody else that manipulated them and played with them and took advantage of them. I was banking families at a time. And I'm talking about some millionaires in this city that know my name, that got my number, that trusted me. I would make things happen. That's what God wants. He want to trust somebody that he know you going to make something happen. He know if he call on you, you're not going to be afraid of the fight. He know if he say your name, you going to show up. And when you show up, it's going to be a problem. That's the kind of mentality that he looking for. He know that you understand Romans 12:12, the playbook. Because every play ain't got to be fought. Every fight ain't got to be fought. Some fights happen in your surrender. Sometimes that's the only fight you need. Why I don't send a success story? Because you saw the success. You saw them numbers. That's the success story. You saw what I put up. You know how many people in this branch. And you know how many people in these other branches and what they put up. How y'all got a full staff and I only got half, but I outworked you. Favor. And I never missed. But God was preparing me. When they didn't want to give me the business banking role, even though I had the same degrees that everybody else had, I had more. I had more than my counterparts. Check the records. I had more. And I ain't just get more for the job. No, baby. I got more in the off season. I got my second master's when I was on maternity leave with Alex, my second child. My boys are 17 months apart. I was pregnant for years. My mama on here, she'll tell you. I'm a warrior. I ain't never back down from no fight. So I did all of that, right? And they still ain't want to. I had so many plaques that ain't make sense. They still ain't want to put respect on your girl name. Didn't. at all. And then here we go. A call. Capital One call. Capital One heard about me. That's when your numbers speak. You ain't got to send out success stories. People will speak of your success. I ain't never got to boast. That's why I love numbers. That's why I love sales, because I ain't got to boast about it. I just drop the numbers, I walk off. You can do the math. I ain't gotta fight about that. Capital One call. Capital One had been trying to get me for months. I didn't even know. Capital One said, we've been calling your branch, but we wouldn't leave a message because we didn't want, people to know that we was trying to get you. I was like, what? They have been in my LinkedIn inbox. These people have been inboxing me on LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn, but I don't really be on LinkedIn. So I'm like, oh, wow. And literally for 2 months, they have been trying to reach out to me. And I don't even remember what made me go check my LinkedIn inbox. But whatever, it clearly was the Holy Spirit. But I went and checked, and I saw that they hit me up and was like, man, we want to recruit you for a business banker role here in Shreveport. What? Okay. All right. So I replied back. The girl said, ma'am, I've been trying to get you for 2 months. Because, see, I was one of the managers. I had got to the point, I was appointment only. I was the only branch manager in Shreveport that was appointment only. You not just walking in my office talking about, hey, you busy. Yeah, I'm busy. Like, what you talking? Are you busy? What, huh? Do you want to schedule an appointment? And I don't just take walk-ins. I wouldn't take walk-ins. I'm being honest. It wasn't because I was arrogant. It was because I was intentional. And I understood that I had to conserve the best parts of me, the greatest parts of me for the greatest times of me. When I needed to show up, I needed to be able to do that. But if I was bogged down with something I was good at, then I couldn't say yes to what I was great at. I understood that real early. So I did appointment only. I dealt with business clients, appointment only, because I was going somewhere. I knew that God, even though they denied me for the role where I had spent all of my career, my entire career, I had been proven that I was amazing. Other people was talking about how, people that weren't even in my branch was talking about how I was amazing. It was on the street that I was amazing. But I still could, at home, I still couldn't get it. I got as far as I could. It was all right. God said, I got something greater. Somebody else done heard about you. One of my old tellers that had worked for me had told her husband, who worked for Capital One, about me. Come on. You never know what's in your midst. That's why you got to treat people right, because you don't know. You calling them a burden, baby, they pregnant with your blessing. You calling them, this ain't real. They pregnant with your blessing. I handle people fairly. And because I handle people fairly, good morning, mama, because I handle people fairly, God honored me. He sent somebody that had left me. This girl didn't work for me no more, but I never mistreated her. I was fair. I was fair. That's what everybody can tell you about me. Lauren was fair. Lauren, it was amazing. If Lauren told them clients to jump off the roof, they was jumping off the roof because they trusted me. That's when you know it's God. When people trust you with their money, that's when you know it's God. Because people don't trust people with their money. So half of y'all got friends. They don't even know your account overdrawn right now. You wouldn't even tell them, and you call them your bestie. I was people's best friends. I was praying with folk and warring for folk and helping them get themselves out of ruts. Me. And I still wasn't 30 years old yet in none of these stories. Under 30. You understand? I had gotten so used to getting a raise that I didn't know what it was like to not get none. I was like, who don't get raises on their jobs multiple times a year? Oh, yeah. Oh, damn, let me shut up. Oh, they ain't just dropping 10 grand on you at your job. Oh, let me shut up. I was favored, and I knew it. But look at God and how he blessed me and how he took me from all these different angles. For these moments right here, I became one of the first Black business bankers for Capital One in this area. There had not been a Black woman. in business banking in Capital One in Shreveport, Louisiana. But there was one. How? Me. God's chosen one. And I didn't have to go seep out because I had gotten so used to raises and promotions finding me. I ain't never applied for no promotion. Ever. Every promotion I've ever gotten in my career of banking, I never applied for. They came to me. So I didn't even know what that was like. Go and seek and find it. What? I don't seek and find. I work hard and then it comes. That was the motto. I work hard and then it comes. And that's how it happened for me. Capital One gave me some money so stupid. It wasn't even no conversation. I was leaving, and everybody could respect it and understand it because they knew that what I was becoming could not be contained in a box. They knew she a bad girl, and you can't contain it in a box. She too amazing. You ain't gonna be able to hold her. She A1. She deserves to sit at the round tables. And a lot of tables I was at, a lot of great things I learned in those years at Regions, a lot of great things I put in my career now, and I work hard. And God has promoted me over and over. I have yet to punch a clock. I don't know the last time because I don't know. I was like maybe 22 or something. The last time I punched a clock. I'm 33. Favor. But I work harder not punching a clock than I did punching one. When I was 21 punching one and I had a time and told when to be where I had to be, I didn't work as hard as I do now. Now I work sun up to sundown sometimes. Because I get it now. I get it that it's bigger than me. But I was always willing to fight for it. Always willing to fight for it. Always willing to fight for it. And still to this day, clients find me. Clients call me. My clients that I've had for years, business still finds me. Business still finds me. I was one of the first mortgage officers that had a marketing bench on Uri Drive, which is one of the busiest streets in Shreveport. It was my face on that bench. Mine. My face. Mine was the first. Just being honest. Ain't no brag. It's being in position. Ain't no brag. God has promoted me more times than I even want to count because it may start bothering some of y'all. I was accustomed to increase because God knew that my life would be accustomed to increase. That's my legacy. I'm accustomed to increase. That's somebody's prayer on this morning. I'm accustomed to increase. I'm accustomed to increase. What you talking about? I ain't increasing. What? So there I was at Capital One. I'm dealing with clients that if you ain't making $3 million, you ain't even in no conversation for me. Not no shade. That's the parameters of the company. Not no shade. Good morning, Miss Verna. Parameters of the company. But God was training me when I told y'all I was just taking appointments only. Because at that point, I now had a book of business and an assistant. And I moved on. I was training in the off season. I was dealing with this type of clientele in the off season. I was putting myself in uncomfortable situations so I could be stretched in the off season when I wasn't a banker. That's how I prepared for the next move. I prepared by doing the work when nobody was looking, when I wasn't getting paid. So you know it ain't about the money. It's about the purpose. I was working when nobody was highlighting. I was doing stuff that other assistant managers didn't want to touch, that they ain't my pay. I was doing it because I was preparing, because I knew I was accustomed. I was accustomed to increase. That's the word of the Lord on this morning. So now my life is even better. I have an amazing work spouse. She's amazing. We've been together a year. I love her. I tell her all the time that she's my blessing. We got 4 closings this week. I said this week. The month ain't over. This week. So I pray that something that I said blessed you. I pray that this morning you got your Romans 12:12 on, and I hope that this day that you know that what God said is finished. It's settled. You're a warrior. You was built for this. He comes at the wee hours, and he turns that thing around. If he said it, it settles it. I don't care if it's 10 minutes before time. He is the owner of time. Okay? He the owner of time. If you running late, just pray, God, hold the time. I do. I'm like, oh, God, hold the time so I can be on time. And guess what he do? Hold the time every time. I'm always on time. I'm always on time. So just know that in this season, the enemy is going to try you. He's going to try to be like, I don't know. That probably ain't going to happen. There's her testimony. If he did it before, he'll do it again. Same God. They ain't got nothing more special on them that ain't on me. God don't hierarchy us. We hierarchy. We always trying to find out what's the highest and best use of our time. God don't. Everything that we do is the highest and best use. Everything. Everything. So whatever the enemy told you about that purpose, you better be willing to fight for it. Because God ain't going to never, when he give it to you, just know the enemy going to try to fight you for it because it's that valuable. But if you don't understand that it's that valuable, you mishandle it. If you don't understand that it's that serious, you'll play with it. If you don't understand that it requires you to get up at 4:20 in the morning, be out the door by 4:40, be at the gym for 5 a.m., be in the gym till 6:30, even though class was over at 6, get home, do what you need to do, start your day, work all day, da-da-da-da-da. If you don't understand it, then you'll mishandle it. And that's your fault. He said, they that wait on the Lord will renew their strength. I don't mind waiting, God. I don't mind waiting. Whatever that next season, God, make me careful. I don't mind waiting. Just prepare me in the off season, because when it's game day, I don't want to be sitting on the sideline, God. When it's game day, I want my jersey dirty. Because see, unless I'm out there performing, then when it's time for the contracts to be renewed, they need the performance to prove how much more I'm going to get paid. So, God, I don't need to be on the sideline. So make me careful. Prepare me in the off season. So when it's game day, I'm ready. My jersey on, and when they see that number come through, they know it's war. When they see me show up, they know it ain't no time to play. When they see me show up, they get concerned about what it is that I'm bringing, because I'm bringing heat. I've been in the Word. I've been studying the moves of God. I've been studying the numbers of God. I've been studying the ways of God. So that way it ain't, you surprised by his ways. I'm not. You surprised that I'm here. I'm not. You surprised because you ain't been working like I've been working. So of course it surprises you. It don't surprise me. Step aside. It didn't catch God by surprise that they tried to play on your name. It didn't catch God by surprise that people didn't want to believe the prophecy that you gave them. It didn't catch God by surprise that people didn't want to see you elevate. It didn't catch him by surprise. It just made him show up. It didn't catch him by surprise. It just made him show up. He just made him show up because you showed up on your knees. You understood, I ain't got to use my hands. When I do this right here, that's a sign of surrender. And you would much rather me put my hands on you than for me to put my hands up, because then my daddy coming. And he gonna do what he needs to do, because I ain't got to talk. The Lord defends me, and I can roll my neck like that. I can roll my eyes like that. I can let you stupid. All that, because I know the work that he has started in me, he gonna finish. And when he finishes, I will be legendary. When he finishes, you'll still be talking about my sacrifices. When he finishes, you'll still be talking about how I made it. Purposeful pain. Still selling. It was bestseller when it came out. And I ain't never been no author. I couldn't write. My mama wrote my papers for me until I was 16 years old. I didn't start learning how to write till I was 17 in my English 1010 class. That was a college class. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. And now, people ask, how you putting books out like that? The favor? Get in position and you'll see. Get in position and you'll know. My mama on here, I ain't got to lie. I ain't ashamed of my testimony, period. I'm not ashamed. It is my reminder that if he did it before, he gonna do it again. Same God. If he did it for them, why I can't get it? I'm going to just be in position. God, I'm going to let you go handle the people that say I can't have whatever you say I can't have. And then I'm going to be in position. So then when you go ahead and give me the position that you already told me I was going to get anyway, I'm ready. And they still trying to count you out. Even when they give you the position, they still, well, I'm going to see what she do. Because if she don't do, then I'm going to just write her up. They still going to be, but they don't even know you was preparing. Because they didn't see you when you was working. They didn't see you when your head was down. They didn't see you when you was staying till 9 o'clock at night because you know what, Loomis come tomorrow and we ain't got shipment ready. And because we only got 2 tellers and 1 banker, the management team got to stay till 9 o'clock at night. That's a real true life story and count over $1 million to send out. That's a true life story. I have counted with these hands that kind of money. Why I got that kind of money on me up my branch? Because it's like a high traffic flow branch. People brings money. That's why. And I gotta ship it. And because it couldn't get done during the day, because I had to make sure that I had numbers for the call so I could show you that I was still out here handling my business, I then put on my other hat that was my original hat before God gave me my promoted hat, and I can still get behind a teller line and I'll work you any day of the week and come with numbers at the end of the day because I've been trained for this. I'm not afraid of the enemy. I'm not afraid of a fight. I'm not afraid of your bloodline. I'm not afraid of your brokenness. I'm not afraid of your illness. I'm not, because I know I got healing hands. I ain't trying to argue with you about that. I know when I touch a thing and I anoint it that God gonna show up through me. I'm not trying to argue with you about this. I know what's in me. I know what he been training me for. I know what my mama used to say, come in here and lay hands on your mama. My head hurt. I'm a little girl laying hands on my mama. Now my children lay hands on their mama. Now my children, my grandmother in ICU one day. I'm not even concerned because the next day she in her room and she's still chilling. I put her great grandkids on the phone. Pray for your great grandmother. She in the hospital. Let her hear your voice. She in the hospital. Hear my son go. By his stripes, I am healed. I'm raising warriors. They came from one, pushed out from one, not even cut. I've been on this grind. Some people just got here, and that's why they don't appreciate it. I've been here. I've been working. And that right there is the moral of the story. You want to fight? Romans 12. You feel like fighting today, sis? You got it on your mind? Because sometimes the fight is just surrendering your hand. Let God do it. Don't ever apologize for your obedience. If God told you to do it, let them deal with it. That ain't your problem. You came to their door and uncovered what needed to be uncovered, so now they can step into their purpose. That's not your problem. The enemy just mad because he thought you weren't going to do it, but I did. He thought you wasn't going to go because it sounded stupid. Oh, but I showed up. He thought that you wasn't going to build the ark like Noah. Oh, but I went and started getting my money together. He thought you wasn't going to build God's house before you build yours. Oh, but he forgot you was going to go ahead and get yourself in position. I'm not afraid to borrow money because I've lended it in every aspect of life. There ain't nothing I ain't never financed before, so I'm not afraid. The only people that stay in situations that God is calling them of is people who are afraid of money because they don't know how to handle it. I was trained, so you gonna have to fight me a little different. You gotta come at me a little harder. Took my marriage. I was already raised. My parents divorced after 21 years. That don't scare me. You can't scare me. Sometimes you just gotta be ignorant with the enemy. Like, you can't scare me, bruh. I done watched my mama go from struggle to strength. You can't scare me. You can't scare me with nothing. Because I ain't never ran from a fight. I was always the underdog. I still graduated college in 4 years. I ain't never came home with no cheering. My mama can tell you, didn't. But I came back and got my brother and made sure he got 2 degrees. From the school that he idolized. Made sure he got a driver's license. I went back for mine. I didn't shun him. I went back for mine. For my own blood. I said, you too great to be playing. Come on here. taught him how to pay bills. I ain't playing with him. And he know if his sister got to come to that school, she gonna clown. To this day, he know if I got to get my sister on the line, it's going to be a problem because when she show up, she going to show out. It's going to always be a problem because she go to war behind the things that she cares about. She is relentless. She not going to stop, so you may just want to leave her alone. I've always been that way. So imagine it in the spirit. Imagine it when I'm doing it for your marriage. Imagine what it's like when I'm fighting it for your bloodline, for your brokenness. When I'm making the bridge so you can cross, so you ain't got to wait on the ferry. You ain't got to get your $2 out that you ain't got to cross the ferry. Mama, you remember we used to cross the ferry going to St. Francisville. Now St. Francisville got this big, beautiful bridge, but it wasn't always no bridge. It wasn't always no bridge. It takes time to build this kind of greatness. But I got nothing but time. I got nothing but time for God. I got nothing but time for God. But time. So I pray that I blessed you. I pray that this testimony took you as far as it needed to take you. I pray that you get on your grind today, men of God, men of God. I pray that you put your cape back on, square your shoulders out. They that wait on the Lord will renew their strength. I ain't got a problem with waiting, God. Just while I'm waiting, prepare me so when it's time I show up and I'm not trying to put my socks and shoes on, talking about I'm coming. No, I'm at the door. Knock, knock. Hey, Carla, I'm at the door. Knock, knock. I ain't putting shoes on. I ain't putting shoes on. That's what you want your prayer to be. That's how you need to be resilient. Just as my attitude has been on here, that's how your attitude needs to be all day when the enemy tries to play with you and come against you and tell you what you're not going to have. Who said I'm not going to have it? He said great and mighty works he was going to do through me. He told me that in my mother's womb, he already knew me and that my end was foretold in the beginning. So who said I'm not going to have? Knock, knock. Who said I can't do it? Why I can't? I've always attracted money. So who said I'm not going to have enough money to put my own book out and self-publish 3 books, already working on the 4th one? Who said I can't? Oh, was it the English teacher who was like, oh, was it my mama who was like, girl, why you can't put a sentence in subject-verb agreement? Who said I could not? Because anybody who ever told me that I couldn't do something, I always showed up. I bought my own first car and brought it home and presented it to my parents. It wasn't the other way around. I worked 2 and 3 jobs to pay my bills. When I mismanaged the minutes on mama phone, AT&T bill, mama said, I can't afford this. You mismanaging time. Bet. My daddy said, I'm going to pay for it. Don't worry about it. Cool. He didn't even come through, but guess who came through? It made the warrior in me stand up. I stopped looking for handouts and I stood on my own 2 feet. I'm not ashamed of how I had to come up hard. I had to come up hard because my life is going to be a testimony. And if I'm not willing to train in the off season, then I ain't ready for the game day and I don't need to renew my contract. Drop me off the team because I wasn't working no way. That's a testimony. That's a life. So when people want to know, this is my life. I ain't got no shame in it. This is my life. And I don't care. I don't care about what it looks like because it ain't going to always look like this. The season that you in ain't going to always look like this. When I didn't know I was getting messed over with money, it didn't always, God restored me past that. I ain't fighting with people about little money. God got wealth laid up for my bloodline. I ain't fighting over that stuff no more. Because I understand it was always bigger than me. So I love you guys. I pray that you shared the live. I pray that you're blessed. If you want to coach with me, I'm a business coach. I'm a life coach. It ain't nothing I can't coach. You ain't got no business that can't tell you how to operate in LLC and everything else in the free world. I done already touched millions. I ain't just calling myself one. I got 2 certifications. I don't believe in calling myself anything I ain't got paperwork to go with. That part. And that's just my own thing. That's for me. They got to be for you. That's for me. So if you want to coach with me, It's up. I'm open to it. You want to fight? You ready to go to the next level? I'm open to it. I'm going to get you there. I'm going to push you there. I'm going to be the bridge you can walk across easy like Paul was for me. Paul was my bridge. I walk across him easy. Paul called me the day tomorrow and said, I need you at Carter. Can you come over here? I need this to do. As much as I love everything I do in this world, I leave it behind him. Because I respect the man of God that much. And he know it. I've always told him that. This ain't no secret. He know it. I leave whatever I'm doing to make sure you good, because I'll never forget how you put your name on the line for me when you didn't have to. And I called him my burden. And my ex-husband was right. He was my blessing. And he still is. Still my blessing to this day. So watch how you calling them burdens. You may be cursing your blessing. I love y'all. I'm going to get it in. I got 4 closings between today and tomorrow, and I got one going on in the next 45 minutes, and I got to go drop them a gift. So you working or you playing? Let me know. It's up. Bye.